Oh, hey there. I just had to make a video and talk about there's other treasure hunts, not just Forrest Fenn's treasure going on, but the one treasure hunt that it's just like, why do they even have a TV show on it, There's a hole they've been digging there for 200 years. Never found anything. And all of a sudden, oh boy, we better send a crew out there and start filming this. Yeah, these people got a hole and they found water down there. Well, you drill a hole and find water just about anywhere. You go down deep enough. But yeah, there's a bunch of guys, and it's probably nothing what they're looking for, There's probably no treasure at all there. It may have been just when the sea level was 400 feet lower, there was some type of ladder or shaft that they could go get down to the coast through there or something. Who knows? Maybe they filled it in, just threw a bunch of rocks and boards in there. When you fill a hole, you just throw junk in it, right? So, I don't think they're going to find any treasure down there. But, meanwhile, I found mammoth temples, thousands of tombs and sculptures, and not one producer is interested in it because Forrest isn't willing to talk to them. But I've got, hey, how you doing, Cow Lasers? I've got, the Olmec head, and that Olmec head looks just like the eyes and the nose is pretty much just like the head that's in Long John Silver. And Long John, if those be his eyes, and that be his nose, the nose draws a line to the toes, points the way to the treasure. Forrest keeps saying it's, pirates. And they don't really show you they show you the map in Long John Silver, but it's just a faraway view, and it's it's an island, and there aren't any real islands like that in the Rocky Mountains. You can find little islands in the river, but there's no real islands there. And I watched what I watched this morning. The Man Alone talking about where warm water's halt. Well, I gave you where warm water's halt. People are always looking, like he mentioned, it's that variation between warm water and cold water or somewhere in there and all that. But there's a beginning and an end. Omega has a beginning and an end. And so does a rainbow. But which end of the rainbow is I'll tell you here in a second, Cal Laser. The end, which end of the rainbow is the end, and which end is the beginning? You don't know if it's the right end or the left end. They're both the same. So, where do warm waters halt? Exactly where they begin. If you go to where they begin, they halt there too, don't they? So they halt at 1,000 feet down below the spring. He said, "How deep is a hole? How deep is a hot hole?" That's where warm water halts, at the bottom of the hole. That's where it comes from, I guess. But the world's deepest hot spring is Pagosa Hot Springs, 1,000 feet down. That's where warm water halts, 1,000 feet below Pagosa Hot Springs. And you take it in the canyon down. It's not really down. You do kind of go down in that. You kind of go up on a hill and get away from the river, and then you move. You're going down into the canyon when you're driving in there, but it's really going upstream. And at home of Brown, there, 1,000 feet. They dropped a string down the well all the way to the bottom. It's 1,000 feet. They only had 1,002 feet of string, and they ran out. But no other hole they've dropped a string in gone that far. So it's in Guinness Book of World Record is the world's deepest hot spring. And that's where warm waters halt, where Fred Harmon lives, who made the Red Rider, who's Red Rider author and artist, and his galleries are there. Pagosa Springs is in Pagosa Springs. It's all like, when you drive through town, it's a great big thing, and I put a picture of it. It's, 30 miles to New Mexico from there? Forrest, easily, it's a 2.5 hour drive from Forrest's house to Pagosa. I've done it in, I've come from further and did it in 3 hours, so. It's just going through all those towns in New Mexico. The speed limits are so slow, and they're all trying to get you a ticket 1,000 feet below what? About 1,000 feet below the ground surface. I said, hey, Bill, what happened to Rainbow Falls? Is it off the list? Rainbow Falls. I don't think I ever had a Rainbow Falls. I may have called it a Rainbow Falls at the end of the one I went in and under the waterfall and looked in there, and that one I won't be they won't I'm the forbidden searcher as far as the gypsies. They've got me blocked from their channel and everything, so because I said AGK lacks imagination. and he personally insulted me. I did not insult you. I said you lack imagination. Looks don't make up for imagination, I guess. But there's the imagination he's talking about, telling people to be a abstract artist. Oh, get into abstract art. I can't draw, but I can do abstract. It's abstract would be trying to see a picture in the whole collection of pictures here. If you back off far enough, you see shapes and bunny rabbits and clouds and stuff like that. Because to see these ancient formations, these ancient carvings in the rock that have 14,000 years of erosion on it, you got to use some imagination because they're faded. And when you can see it, it's amazing. It's amazing how much is there. It's just covered with figures, and there's big murals and the art. I gave away a print of some art I found yesterday, but I don't think I got my email yet to mail it to them. But I got to go get them at my son. They just arrived yesterday, so. But I don't know. I think I've shown enough pictures and all, but I always feel I got to show people more pictures, the same ones over sometimes. But he hints of Rich is old when he talks about the Frenchman's tombstone and said there were hundreds of them. You're looking for hundreds of dead Frenchmen in Colorado. and that's the hint of Rich's old, which God, it's just printed all over the map. Hint of Rich's old. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? That thing you're looking for is printed on the map. So it's on there. There's a hint of those riches, of that thing you're looking for. It's on the map. So, and it has to do with these Frenchmen. No. The Continental Divide's still in. You're going to be. You see the Continental Divide, and following the poem, you do visit the Continental Divide. Say it that way. It's not a stroll in the park. It's a tarry drive down the tarry road, and he said you got to take the right avenue. I don't know. It's not an avenue really. But it is paved. You know, that's your tarry scant. You take your tarry scant and you look at the sights along the way. Okay. I don't know what he said. So let me see what I got on here. I got anything going on here to show you? I was making some art, and I got my mammoth from the Denver Museum, and these are mammoth temples. You can see right in here. These are all elephant trunks. Comes down and curls, comes down and curls, comes down. Here's an elephant trunk curling up there. And right here you see somebody laying down. Here's their head and their body, and here's their legs right here. That's because these are this isn't just natural formation. You see here 3 heads, 4 heads. There's another head down here, and he's got feathers coming out his head. Well, I got 5 acres here, so you know, I'm still making payments on it, and I don't have it for sale, so I think I'll be here for a while. But I'm really just camping here, temporary until I can go camp closer to the treasure. Those places are closed, and you see here's even, you know, you see this guy, this guy here, his face right in there. He's got a feather out his head, and there's just all kinds of figures in these rocks. Yeah, I live on the chase. I go up there and check it once a week. And today is fire and wind. In the wind and fire is our weather forecast today. So I don't think there are going to be any fires coming along. But tomorrow is dust. Wind and dust, and then the next day is snow. And you see these, you know, see the figures in here. See it. Look at his eye and his mouth. Something laying across here. But there's a guy. There's a guy in there. You know, there's all kinds of these figures. Here's other people down here. You see this guy. See his nose and his eyes and his mouth and his ear. And here's another guy here. And there's another little person here. It just goes on. It's so ridiculously packed with sculpture. I don't know what else I had here. But look, see, he's sitting in there. There's an eye. Here's his hand up here. He's sitting back there in that crevice. Here's another figure here. There's an eye, his nose. See, he got his tongue sticking out? I don't know. Yeah. You see the guy back here, too. Some of them, you know, have been there $14,000 years. Some of them, their heads have fallen off. So, look at this guy, big guy over here. You don't see his ear and his eyes. The natives, they may not have sculpted the whole thing, but and people say, "Oh, it's just natural formation." Well, what they saw was they see, "Oh, it looks like," but they go, "Oh, well, let's just help it out, and we'll make it a human formation." You know, maybe their sculpting wasn't, it was rough and all. 14,000. You're talking about hunter-gatherers. You're not talking about Picasso and Leonardo da Vinci, See, there's a mammoth. I take him from there and cut him out, and trim him out, and I can paste him into pictures like, oh, I had it there. Oh, this is something else I want to show you. The pirate. From his nose to his toes. This is a big foot. See the ankle here and the foot? And I think it might be 2 feet next to each other, because there's more than 5 toes going along here. Yeah. Now that, I just pulled over and I look at it. Oh my God, it's a foot. A bunch of fire. Dance hole in Wyoming was the spot. No, there's nothing. I talk about the area I found and all that. I cannot pretend that it might be in Yellowstone, or it might be in New Mexico, or it might be in Wyoming or Montana. I can't pretend any of that, because I've seen too much of the real information. See, edit, undo. So, see, this thing I'm moving around. That's the rock from Long John Silver. You see, and I could take him. And the eyes, I can line up right over the eyes of my old neck head, and it's just like, wow, they fit perfect. Why doesn't somebody ask Forrest what color is a hole? Oh, what color is a hole? Ask him, better than that, what temperature is a hole? Yeah. So yeah, there's the. I paste it on there. Okay. So yeah, this is a rock from Long John Silver, and people get on my case for seeing the face in a rock. And here's Hollywood, faces and rocks, How do you it's just 2 holes through a little couple arches and but no, it's got 2 eyes and a nose. And if you're unable to do that, if you're only able to make sense of what people told you is real, and what you've been told to avoid these, don't believe anything that's out there in the fringes. It says there's apparitions in the fringes. Okay. Go on here. Let's see cartoons. Oh, that's not where I went. I went here. Recent. Oh, I just saw one. What was that? I can't remember what was in some of these pictures. I don't remember what I had in there. But we had, Forrest Fenn fishing. And I went to this spot. I went here last week, and you see here's Fenn standing here. This is him standing here. Here's his belly. And here's his fishing pole sticking out there. But I wanted to look in this hole here, and you see it's pretty dark in there. And I wanted to check this thing right here. But snow was up this high, and all of this was filled with snow. Now I'm going to point out something else here. Right here in this shot. What does anybody see? How many elephants you see? How many elephants can you see in that picture? Well, I can show you some elephants here. Where'd my dang pointer go? Oh, there. Okay. So, here's an elephant eye. Here's his trunk going down. This is his trunk going down into the sand. This little thing here is an elephant and his trunk hanging down there. This is an elephant head and his trunk is curled up here in front of his face. This is his eye. This is the ear and his trunk going out that way. So there's 4 elephants. Look at this one here. Elephant, trunk curled up. The trunk, the front of his head comes down and the trunk curls in here. It's 14,000 years. It's very rough, yeah. There's 14,000 years of erosion you're looking at. And so, you know, unless you have an eye for this kind of thing, then your opinion means really nothing. Here's an elephant head here and the trunk coming and curling here. But it's just a bunch of elephants. I'll show you the little one in here again. See the eye and the trunk? And what this creek is, there's a creek that comes down the mountain in it, and it goes under the rocks back here, and it comes out right here. So, and I was able to look down in these rocks here and see a little bit down it, but there's snow and ice in there, and you couldn't see to the bottom. So I've got to wait a little longer for the snow to melt there. And they're probably getting more tomorrow, so that's not going to help a lot. What the? I didn't. I clicked on something else, and it went the totally wrong way. I hit this, and it went to play a video. See where I'm at? I'm in the photo viewer, and I hit the next slide, and it took me to playing a YouTube video right out of Microsoft Photo Viewer. Unbelievable. So, now, who doesn't see a man there? There's a nose, an eye, you know. Now, here's a woman up here or something, and a face on either side of her. Here's an elephant trunk curling around here. There's another face here. There's the eye. Here's the nose. There's a guy on his cheek here with his hand reached out. And he's got a little crown thing going here. And this guy has like a pirate bandana, you know. But he's really cool. And with marvel gaze, if you stare at these rock, you'll see the shapes. You don't just. Here's Salinger's tombstone. This isn't really his tombstone. It was made up. It was a made-up tombstone based on his book. You know what I mean? So, because he said his tombstone, somebody would go and write that on his. Spray painted on his tombstone when he dies. And so, you know. So we don't know. Maybe the spot, it's got a FU on it. Maybe that's the blaze. And so oh man, he wouldn't put it that. Yeah, he'll put it where you'd least imagine. Forrest. Now, do you see the face inside here? The eyes and the nose and the mouth. Yeah, whatever. You know. But there's figures in there. It's hard to see. This was neat. This is an arm coming, and And these are figures of, but these people were orange, and that's a blaze itself. This is the inside of the treasure box lid, digitally enhanced, so that you can see more details in it. Now you can see there's a skull head over here. There's this guy sitting in here. There's smaller figures. It's just very bizarre what is in the lid of that treasure box. And you wonder if it's the picture of the spot and it's distorted and then placed into the photo of the treasure box. I don't know. You see the hinges or the latch over here on this left side. You can see the latch in the frame of the box, and I scanned it, took it out of the and enhanced it so you bring out more colors and different. Boop. Oh yeah, I made a GIF with that. Not far, but too far to walk. And here you see the figure here standing here, and here's his legs. He's walking. That's why I made that. You know, it's just there. This is the no paddle up your creek canoe. Here's canoe. That's a canoe. This was done 14,000 years ago. This woman here is sitting. This is a mammoth here. That's his trunk. This is his trunk that comes all the way down here. And this little girl here has her knee up on the trunk of the mammoth like she's getting on or off of the mammoth trunk. You see the leg there coming up, and it's up on this trunk. This is the trunk, you know. So there's this girl here, and she's getting on the mammoth trunk, and this big woman here is sitting on it. Yep. Hey, how you doing? Like it's Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I ain't seen Freddy Krueger up there, but there are the Freddy Kruegers here are called mountain lions. And these are a couple of girls I found in the rocks, and I clipped them out and put them in this picture, you know. And so you get the treasure sitting there, and the Clovis girls. She's a painter. She's painting the scene, you know. So, I don't know why people figure Forrest Fenn wouldn't be interested in art and nature. You have to be brave to see this stuff. Here, that's a boy's face, right? And he's got something on a tombstone on his chest, maybe? Is he reaching in under here and putting a nickel under there? You know? Is this the Pie Lady's tombstone? We don't know. I have to check that spot yet. It was covered with snow, and the snow was down in the. You see, there's a lot of rocks, and where there's a lot of rocks, the snow initially is on top of the rocks, but it drips off, and then you got ice and stuff in the crevices between the rocks, and all the places the treasure would be hidden are still full of ice and snow, and it'll take a little while. Yeah. Find a good-looking rock. He says, if I could find a good-looking rock. That was in Spanish Toy Factory. If I could find a good-looking rock. And that's what you're looking for, good-looking rocks. Homer Brown. David Jennings Brown. Died in 13. A blaze. One of the blazes. One of the blazes but not the blaze. There are many blazes. It's like there's 4 states in the chase, hundreds of rivers. He included the Rocky Mountains, so how many of these spots exist? You see him? Look at the glasses. See the sunglasses, the aviator glasses? Is that the aviator? Is that Forrest? I don't think that's him because you have to, it's a climb, I'll say. That's a climb to get there. It's about 500 feet up and maybe half a mile walk. Look at that rock right on his nose. Is that a rock? Or a clearing? It's hard to tell. Maybe it's dead tree leaves. Because you see the satellite picture is from the top side of these trees. Because we're seeing the trees, bottoms there and the tops up here. So the trees are pointed to the bottom of the picture. Means the satellite or airplane that took the picture was north of these trees, basically. Because if it was straight over them, the tree, it'd be straight down looking on the trees. Some up here are straight down. So. In the wood. What's in the wood? The art is in the wood frames. Art in the wood. His drawings. The end is in my drawings, 9. It's in 9 of the drawings? Is that what he's trying to say? You gotta adjust those words. Words have other meanings. He likes to play with words. That's playing with words. 9 could be 9. Or maybe it's German. Oh, he said he doesn't speak in the Deutsch. But it wasn't Deutsch, it was French that I sent him. But, yeah, and the gypsies, they're right there at the home. They're at the home of Brown. The tombstones are tired and weak. So are these two. The boy and him are 40 feet apart. Their rock formation, and this is also this scene with the father and the son is at another spot that's maybe half a mile from the other 2 rock formations of it. But and I've even found more stuff in that area, but I've advanced to a part. He says I took it with me. He said I took it with me. So I went to I took it with me area, and I wasn't sure if it would go that far, but it has to have, and I hope it doesn't go further down the road. I'm hoping that I'm at that end of the rainbow, and it's somewhere near there, and I'm hoping that it's not up another canyon in another creek, because when he says there's no paddle up your creek, that's just one spot he's talking about. There are other creeks in the search. There's more than one. Remember, there's more than one of everything. Do you have one car? Some people don't have just one house. So Brown, I know, didn't have one house. He had other houses, other places, and he had dozens of houses. He has guest houses, so his home is a mansion, and he's got these guest houses. He was a very rich man. If his house sold for $88 million. And another, if I could find another good rock, this is another guy holding the tombstone. Guy's holding tombstone, and look, he's got a shirt. He's even got an Air Force hat pointed up there, But if you look in his arm, you can see other figures here in his arm. There's this guy here with the orange shirt in his head, and this person sitting here holding this smaller person. And there's two figures. You see, it just goes on and on and on. And you get to a point, okay, I've gone too far. That one wasn't really, that was an apparition, but most of them aren't apparitions. The Biddies lived in a brick house. Ben lived in the wood house. It burned down twice. Who's his straw man lives in the straw house? I'm sure Doug is probably the guy that if Forrest has died and you find the treasure, you go see Doug. You know. In the wood again. The fire hole halts. Where does the fire hole halt? There were warm water halts. Yeah. It's at the bottom of the hole. Bottom of the hole. How deep is a hole? The Model A cowl. And here's the helicopter. Right up there. See the helicopter in the trees there? There's a couple tombstones up here. And there's this helicopter in the trees. There's another helicopter over here. You're too close to it to see it. You see, sometimes you get too close and you don't see it anymore. You back off and you see it. The pictures you zoom in and out, and things will come in and out of the picture. You see the hand? This is a hand here. It's the thumb and the hand, and this guy's got his hand out. There's Anubis. This is... he says, I do have some Egyptian things. A mummified falcon, I love that stuff, particularly ancient Egyptian things. That's fascinating to me. And that is Anubis. Whether you believe me or not, that is Anubis. If you don't believe me, then, yeah. So Anubis was likely, maybe, he was a coyote, not a jackal. You don't see the mouth. I mean, that red is not, I didn't put that there. That's naturally, or that was put there by whoever carved this out. There's the dog's nose, there's his eyes, and here's his ears pointing up. That's Anubis. This is his scepter with the vortex, and the people at the bottom here walking out, and they go up a ramp. I have closer pictures. And they get sucked off into this vortex going to heaven. And these over here are people racing to go to heaven. Running to Anubis. Welcoming death. And where would a man leave his bones? With the protector of the dead, Anubis. So, and I showed this to a guy who was a leak project guy. You know, I sent him pictures of this, Anubis and Enki and all that, because he was talking all about Enki and Anubis and everything. And I sent him this stuff, and I said, come on, I'll show it to you if you want to see it. He never replied, acted as if I didn't exist, and quit doing videos on Enki and Anubis. And he's hardly done any videos since I sent him these pictures of Enki and Anubis, you know? And it's clear. It was, you see, I cut out the rock, the other rock, so you could see the shapes I'm seeing, you know? And it was like just so all these people climbing on there. Well, I'm not an artist that can do this from scratch. This is a picture of the rock with some of the rock blacked out so you can see the shapes, the major shapes I was trying to point out. There are other smaller shapes inside the other shapes and things. There are figures up behind him here. You can see it. There's face in there. I don't think he went and got it. The only reason, if I've looked in the right place and it wasn't there, it wasn't because he went and got it or anything. It's because it was never there. And this is a test, and if you can find all of this stuff, you win the prize. I'll give you the title. If you can find this art in nature, the trove of art. It's a trove of art that you're looking for. He doesn't say that the treasure. He's hinting of treasure, but people are seeking his trove. The poem, you're seeking his trove. And what is the trove? The treasure? Or is the trove the art and the ruins? Aliens. Aliens in the rocks. That's all that is. To walk into someone's house and see a great painting is like finding a great arrowhead laying on the ground or catching a great fish. So when you find this art, finding this is equivalent to finding his arrowhead. When you find this art, this great art, and this is a regular, this picture, the purple and all that, it was darker and things are faded, and all I done to the picture part was I increased the saturation and I increased the shadows, and the color, it brings out that original color. You can see, a lot of stuff is gone, including the corner of her painting here, but you can see her hands coming up in the painting, and that's a girl sitting there. And the other day I was standing up on top of that rock and looking, but I couldn't get I was seeing if I could get a shot of it from that side of the canyon, because I took this picture from the other side of the canyon, and some places aren't too easy to get to. And there's the Enki, and we have the hooded women in Taos and Forrest Fenn, right? Georgia O'Keeffe. There were two guys down on the plaza walking around on Sunday afternoon, and they were accosted by two women with hoods over their faces. Georgia O'Keeffe. That should have been bleeped out. That looks like her nipple. But it might be a baby she's holding there. This could be a baby she's presenting him. Giving the king a son or something. Who knows what the Forrest Fenn fly fishing. He's riding on the back of a dodo bird and here's a fish. This rock in here was shaped like a fish, and there was a fake treasure there next to it. And this is one that I thought was it, and I went up there, and nope, it's a rock. And I found many other decoys. There's lots of things that will look like the treasure are not the treasure. One time, I was looking under a stump, and there was a hole in the stump on the other side that allowed light to come in through the stump and into the pit, the hole under where the stump came out of, because it was a tree had fallen over. and right where the sun hit was an aspen leaf, and it looked like bright, shiny gold. Man, it freaked me out. I hollered, and they heard me across the canyon. So, yeah, this, you know, this guy's got a face. He's got eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And he's up there on the head of this bird. This is a tree branch going across, you know, so it don't there be you know, but I still trimmed the rock picture. I could have trimmed this beak a little better, probably right here, trim that black off. But oh, he knows. He knows. I email him. I send him all my pictures, my cartoons and stuff. Wood. Wood is wood. Wood is a word. Wood is the forest. Wood is the trees. Wood to make crafts. Wood to make boats. Wood to build ships. Wood to build a home. Wood is a fire. Wood is the chair you sit your butt in. Wood is the stick to beat your butt with. Wood is a tool. Wood is a bow and arrow. Wood is art. And wood can even turn to stone. And I'll say wood is picture frames. And what's in the picture frames? Art. What's in the wood? Art. Art is in the wood. Even wood grain. You can find art in wood grain. You can find figures in wood grains. You might have 3 knots that make 2 eyes and a mouth. You know? Stuff like that. This is, look at this ear. This is like a sculpted rock, and there's a face on it laying in the creek. But this rock isn't that small. You know, it's like, man, I wish I could carry that out. And there's a number 1. And I found a number 2, and I found a number 3. And I'm like, what number am I going to? I found a number 9. A number 9 on an Indian. The helicopter again. You see the tail rotors up here in the trees. Here's the top rotors. And this is the helicopter with his tail. It's clear to me. It's just rocks. I'm not too... You see these guys? See this guy standing here? And this guy here in this... He's laying in like a hot tub. He's laying in the hot tub. His arms up. Arms up. And you see all these leaves are blocking stuff. You can't see back here because of the leaves. But in the fall, these leaves are gone and you can see more stuff. That could be a reason he says it's worth the cold, because it could be that in the summer, the leaves are blocking your view of what you need to see. This is tired and weak. And no place for the meek is over here. Here's the ends of the rainbow. And that's what Forrest told me when I sent him this picture. I really like your picture. Okay? Oh, yeah? Where's that in the Thrill of the Chase? I didn't see that in the Thrill of the Chase. I didn't see it in the Thrill of the Chase. Where's there a rainbow in there? Oh, like the picture on the cover with the horses and stuff, maybe. Looking over the valley. But that wasn't anywhere near there. So, ZPU gun. You see the 2 barrels And the ZPU gun, there's this big drum here, and there's this. Oh, I think that big drum feeds this thing, and this thing feeds the guns. And there's actually 4 guns. You see the barrels of the other 2 over there. There's 2 here, there's 2 on the other side. And what is it? When he flies by in his airplane, they fire these, and they each fire, each of them are firing 4 at a time or whatever. But you see, there's the round thing, and there's this oval thing here. Here's the round rock, and here's the oval one on the other side, and these are the gun barrels, because his friend came by and took them out and bombed it, so that's why these gun barrels are on the ground. That's the biddies, boy. See? Yep, boom. That's him. The Rockwell boy. He has a little guy here reaching in a hole in his head. I mean, I have far too many coincidences to be a coincidence anymore. Okay. And I'm a pirate. The end is in my drawings. So he's telling you, read the poem. You follow the poem to the wood, and you follow the drawings to the treasure. And then the whole poem fits into that spot where the treasure is. Omnificent gurus. I've said I have to admit I'm kind of weird, Fenn. So here's alien, whatever. I just love this, because this is to me, this is Forrest sticking his nose down in the water, and this here, that's Skippy. That's his head. Here's his arms. Here's his scuba tanks. And he's underwater there. And Forrest is looking into the water, the wishing well. And here's the treasure box underneath Skippy there. It was quite an imagine. It's an imaginary thing. A lot of the water will do that, But yeah, maybe it's some other kind of sign, It was just neat. But this rock here, you can see there's stuff. This rock had all kinds of stuff sculpted. I saw all kinds of things in it. It was too heavy to carry out of there, too. He's pointing away. And you see the other stuff down here. Here's a face. Here's a profile of a head. And there's just all kinds of stuff there. There's the elephant in the creek. There's the elephant in the creek. And the trunk coming around here. The trunk comes around. Don't ignore the elephants. Don't ignore the elephant in the room. If you went in here, I went in here. Where was it? Here he is. And you see, here's the little guy. His hat, his head, his arm, and he's holding this tablet. This is his head and his arm, his shoulder. Here's his butt and body, So I'll just kind of... That's him. And he's holding this tablet tombstone. Right there in that elephant trunk. It's carved in there. That was weird. And those are the mammoth temples. This is a mammoth head. Comes down, here's the trunk, curls up. See, the trunk curls around there. This mammoth here, his trunk curls up. There's other mammoths down here. You see this mammoth eye here, and his trunk going down, curling up right there. This is a mammoth head curving his eyes in here. And then right in here is Moses. This isn't a clear one of him, but that's Moses. And at summer solstice, this crack it's shaded, and the sun goes across this at an angle, and it just brings it out. And this is a mammoth here that he's standing on. And there's several other people climbing on the mammoth. And here you see somebody's rear end, their butt, they're bending over, and their head's up in the crevice there. So, is Moses one of these? He's the giant, and we're looking for his golden eggs. Come on, thing. Oh, I hate loose. It's a loose screw, and it's trying to twist off of the picture. You see, here's the kid. There's his face, his hair. Here's his hand going up. There's his other hand coming down here holding the pole. See what I mean? And here's a place, see, here's the number 2. I told you I had the number 1 and the number 2. There's a 2. It's backward, but it's a 2. Him again. Yeah. And you should see some figures in there. This one here, the head. This is a head. Here's his back and his arm reaching down in that hole. Okay, I'm going to end it. Nobody's asked any questions. People are going away. So I'm about boring people. I'll stop. Bye.